This turf doesn't belong to anyone around here. I'm the one in charge of it all now.
The man's cocky talk immediately intimidated the thugs, making them too scared to approach. With just a casual wave of his hand, he dispersed all the troublemakers. This man was Huang Xiaoming, Shanghai's most powerful mob boss. Whenever he showed up, nobody in all of Shanghai dared challenge his authority. Such an impressive figure naturally left the young men in the crowd filled with envy.
A natural-born leader. Man, I wish I could study under him.
The young man's name is Cheng Daqi. His clear eyes reveal a hint of stubbornness. Before coming to Shanghai, he was just a fruit seller. The highlight of my day is silently scaling the wall to watch my childhood friend, Ye GQ, practice martial arts. They spent many wonderful times together, sharing their deepest feelings with each other. But as they grew older, their dreams pulled them in different directions. Daqi harbored dreams of the big city, yearning to venture into Shanghai and make a significant mark in the world. Ye GQ, on the other hand, yearned to go to Beiping, hoping to study opera there and pursue his artistic dreams. Nevertheless, Cheng Daqi's feelings for GQ never wavered. He firmly believed that their love could overcome any obstacle.
As soon as I have even the smallest success or achievement, I'll come to Beiping for you without hesitation.
However, fate always seems to enjoy toying with people. One night, their peaceful life was completely shattered. The fruit shop owner hurriedly pulled the drowsy Cheng Daqi, asking him to go along to catch something good. Who would have thought that at the scene, they'd find the person who had cuckolded him was none other than his longtime friend, Captain Pei. Just as Cheng Daqi moved to help, Captain Pei kicked him straight down the stairs, knocking him unconscious. When he came around, he couldn't see his hand in front of his face. It was pitch black. He slowly realized he was in a prison cell. As Cheng Daqi sat there confused, a man appeared. From that moment on, Cheng Daqi's life began to change. The man informed Cheng Daqi that Captain Pei had framed him, claiming he seized a civilian woman and killed her to keep her quiet.
And then follow my instructions completely, and I can guarantee you won't die.
Alright, I'll do as you say. With a deafening explosion, a massive hole was blasted through the prison wall. Immediately, a group of men dressed in black poured into the cell. Clearly, they were this man's henchmen. As everyone prepared to leave, the man held Cheng Daqi back and sought out Captain Pei. The once incredibly arrogant Captain Pei was now huddled in a corner, shaking with fear. The man handed the gun to Cheng Daqi. This was his first lesson in the ways of the underworld.
I'll count to 3. Yeah. Talented person.
Seeing Cheng Daqi's boldness, the man immediately extended an olive branch to him.
Remember, my name is Zai. I saved your life. See you in Shanghai.
This undoubtedly stirred something in Cheng Daqi's heart, yet he couldn't let go of his feelings for GQ, leaving him torn between choices. Cheng Daqi discovered the note left by Ye Qiu, who had gone to study in Beijing without discussing it with him. This freed Cheng Daqi from his last hesitation. He packed his bags and arrived in the grand city of Shanghai, where the glittering nightlife left him dazzled. Yet amid all the glamour, his determination to make something of himself only grew stronger.
I want to stand on that rooftop with all of Shanghai beneath my feet.
Newly arrived in Shanghai, Cheng Daqi gradually established himself through his exceptional courage and wisdom. He began to stand out in various occasions. One day, while enjoying street opera with his friend Lin Huai, they saw thugs harassing the singer, Ah Bao. Without hesitation, Cheng Daqi grabbed a chair and rushed to help. His heroic actions instantly made Ah Bao's heart flutter. She was completely smitten. But Cheng Daqi had other things on his mind and urged Ah Bao to quickly leave the area. He told Ah Bao to leave quickly, as they were about to face a serious fight. Back then, gangs fighting over territory in the streets was an everyday occurrence. When two groups met, if the bosses couldn't reach an agreement after a brief conversation, they'd immediately start brawling. As second in command, Cheng Daqi led by example, charging at the front of his crew. His blade drew blood with every strike, and chaos ensued. In the middle of the crowd, Cheng Daqi zeroed in on the enemy's leader, going straight for his face. Just as they were about to make a move, the arrival of a person in the distance directly changed the situation on the scene.
This territory doesn't belong to anyone. It's completely under my control. I have full authority over this entire area.
The man who arrived was Huang Xiaoming, chief detective at the French concession police station and Shanghai's most powerful gang boss. With just 2 slaps to the face, he instantly diffused the dangerous situation. No one from either gang dared to make a sound. This raw authority deeply captivated Cheng Daqi. A natural-born leader, he thought.
If only I could be his disciple.
At that moment, Cheng Daqi had no idea that Huang Xiaoming had already heard about him, the dark horse from Shanghai Xinpu. After observing him for a while, he greatly admired Cheng Daqi's character and courage, and was planning to bring him under his influence.
Starting today, this place is yours to run and manage as you see fit.
Cheng Daqi achieved his goal, rising socially through his connection with Huang Xiaoming. He then moved freely through Shanghai's underworld, as his master gradually handed over the business to him. One day, a visitor came knocking at Huang Xiaoming's door, seeking a partnership in the banking business.
I really hope you can help me. I, Huang Xiaoming, have done all kinds of business, but I've never been in the banking business before. Daqi, what's your take on this?
Cheng Daqi explained that with Shanghai's current unstable situation, many businesses would suffer if war broke out. But banks handle other people's deposits, which reduces their own risk while allowing them to interact with various social classes and groups. Following this path brings countless benefits and no harm. This thorough yet accessible analysis won the appreciation of the teacher's wife, who then decided to give 10% of the profits to Cheng Daqi as a reward. Cheng was stunned by this honor and dedicated himself even more to the gang's operations. Despite achieving fame and fortune in Shanghai, thoughts of GQ never left his mind. Unable to wait any longer, he set off for Beiping to find her.
I thought I'd never see you again in this lifetime.
I've been learning business from a friend and made a bit of money. I'll be coming to Beiping to see you very soon.
The two reunited, their joy overflowing beyond words. But this sweet moment didn't last long. A sudden gunshot shattered the peace, as countless men in black burst through the church windows. Luckily, Cheng Daqi and Lin Huai were quick on their feet. They quickly took down the thugs, but when they turned around, they found GQ being held hostage. Cheng Daqi, with his precise aim, put a bullet through the enemy's head. Though he successfully rescued GQ, she had never witnessed such bloodshed before. Completely terrified, she couldn't accept that the man she deeply loved had transformed into a cold-blooded killer.
Didn't you say you were going to do business? What exactly do you do anyway?
I'll tell you, bit by bit.
Unable to accept everything that had happened, GQ chose to leave once again. Unexpectedly, the next time news about her reached him, it was through a joyful announcement in the newspaper. Congratulations to the renowned actress Ye GQ and the distinguished scholar Cheng Daqi on their marriage. This left Cheng Daqi completely heartbroken about his feelings for Ye GQ, so he decided to redirect his affections to Bao, who admired him. They quickly married. Afterward, he poured all his energy into gang business. With Cheng Daqi's help, the gang flourished more and more. Huang Xiaoming felt comfortable enough to pursue his own happiness, and it was precisely because of a woman that he offended the warlord's son.
Ah, damn it! I'm stirring up trouble with someone powerful again. This isn't going to end well.
With his explosive temper, how could he let this slide? He immediately beat the guy up and threw him out onto the street. But he never expected the man would return that night with his goons to seek revenge.
I am the son of the Zhejiang provincial military governor. Name's Lu Xiaojia.
They hauled Hong Xiaoming back to their camp, determined to humiliate him and restore their reputation. Left with no choice to save his master, Cheng Daqi went to the military camp to apologize. However, they refused his apology and insisted on humiliating him publicly, ordering their men to scatter glass bottles on the ground and forcing Cheng Daqi to kneel and crawl over this glass path. Seeing the two trails of blood becoming increasingly vivid, Cheng Daqi did not even frown. Having spent many years in the world, Cheng Daqi remained composed in the face of this situation. He even calmly suggested that both parties could turn hostility into friendship and become partners.
Your dad commands military power. Unfortunately, he has authority, but hasn't converted it to wealth, has influence, but hasn't used it for profit, particularly difficult when supporting such a large army with so many mouths to feed. My master has just become a shareholder in the Yuan Bank. I sincerely hope to invite both you, young commander, and your father, the governor, to join us as shareholders in this venture.
At this moment, Mao Zai stood beside the governor, listening to Cheng Daqi's speech and nodding repeatedly with a smile, thinking it was impressive for someone he had trained back then. As expected, he was not mistaken. Subsequently, under the coordination, both parties successfully reached a consensus. After this encounter, Huang Xiaoming returned to the gang and immediately burned Cheng Daqi's apprenticeship papers. They were now brothers instead. From that day on, Cheng Daqi became second in command, earning the title Grand Master among their ranks. As his status rose, it became inevitable for him to attend various social events. During one particularly dull dinner party, Cheng Daqi slipped out early, only to run into his first love GQ in the elevator. Seeing the woman he loved holding someone else's hand in front of him, Cheng Daqi felt a storm of emotions. Their romance was now just a distant memory, and all he could do was silently watch over her safety from afar in this chaotic and unpredictable Shanghai, wishing things had turned out differently. On a rainy day, Ye GQ accompanied her husband to a bookstore.
I will go to the bookstore to find a book, and you can walk around nearby.
Clearly, Ye GQ was unaware of her husband's underground party identity at this moment, and was aimlessly wandering the streets, while killers in the shadows were watching intently. By the time Ye GQ noticed something was off, it was already too late. The assassins had pinpointed her location and completely surrounded her. In this desperate moment, Lin Huai arrived just in time. His butterfly knife cut through the air, each strike hitting an enemy's vital point, and within moments, all the assassins were eliminated.
The Grandmaster asked me to protect you.
Past emotions flooded back into GQ's heart. At a banquet shortly after, the two met again. Cheng Daqi told GQ that her husband's identity was not simple and advised her to be cautious if she encountered difficulties in the future. I will still lend a helping hand.
Daqi, promise me one thing. Go ahead and speak freely, but I really don't want my husband to know anything about our past relationship.
Mrs. Cheng, you and I have never met before. What past are you talking about?
Thank you. Two people who once loved each other now pass like strangers. The man has achieved fame and fortune in Shanghai but can never reclaim his childhood sweetheart. To achieve great things, he can only rely on his influence in Shanghai, help her eliminate hidden dangers around her and keep her safe. Though fate brought them together, destiny kept them apart and they parted ways. But when war erupts, Ye GQ's husband, consumed by his underground party work, cannot protect her. Cheng Daqi grabs his gun and sets out to find GQ. He rushes through streets filled with artillery fire, ignoring explosions all around him. He saw the blast in the direction of the hotel. Cheng Daqi finally broke down completely. Fortunately, GQ wasn't at the hotel. Daqi snapped back to reality and immediately rushed over, pulling her into a tight embrace. From afar, Cheng Daqi looked visibly uncomfortable watching this scene. But with danger approaching, this wasn't the time for romantic reunions. Everyone gathered to plan their escape from Shanghai. Cheng Daqi found Mao Zai and asked him to arrange a plane to send him and his wife away from Shanghai. Make sure there's room for GQ and her husband too.
Besides the pilot, there is only one seat left, so you can bring one more person. Decide who you want to bring.
By the next morning, Cheng Daqi decided to let the plane take GQ and her husband away, while he would find another way to escape to Hong Kong. This time, Bao became a scapegoat and was detained in Shanghai, staying close to himself. 3 years later, Cheng Daqi and his wife GQ reunited and learned the devastating news that Shanghai had completely fallen and that General Zai and others had defected to the Japanese. They seized all of Huang Xiaoming's property and even forcibly sent his wife to a comfort station. After enduring numerous blows, Huang Xiaoming suffered a stroke and became mentally impaired. Cheng Daqi was filled with resentment upon hearing this and swore to return to Shanghai to take revenge. Even though he'd been gone for years, his influence in Shanghai hadn't diminished. Upon hearing the news, the Japanese immediately wanted to use the position of Shanghai's mayor to buy him off.
Welcome back. After you return, you will become the mayor. I'm the governor. We'll join forces and make a fortune together.
For his revenge plan, Cheng Daqi gladly accepted the appointment. On the night of the inauguration ceremony, he invited the Japanese and Chinese traitors to watch a performance at Shanghai's largest theater. The theater glowed with brilliant lights as the Japanese lost themselves in a false atmosphere of joy, completely oblivious to the danger approaching. On stage, Ye delivered a mesmerizing performance, her melodious voice capturing everyone's attention below. Meanwhile, Cheng Daqi had cleverly switched places with a body double, who remained at the banquet, while he and Lin Huai slipped away to the Japanese secret interrogation facility. Timing it perfectly, just as the opera reached its climactic moment, Cheng Daqi gave the order to light the fuse, detonating explosives that destroyed the Japanese prison where revolutionary fighters were held, freeing numerous compatriots. Back at the banquet, an uneasy Mao Zai couldn't shake his suspicions and made his way to the upstairs private box to investigate. To his surprise, when he opened the door, there was Cheng Daqi watching the performance, but Lin Huai was nowhere to be seen.
Farewell, master. I'm Lin Huai the villain.
It turns out Lin Huai had set off the explosive strapped to his own body to buy Cheng Daqi time to escape. Seeing Mao Zai enter the box, Cheng Daqi grabbed him and pulled him to the edge of the balcony, tossing out a white handkerchief. Suddenly sensing something was wrong, but too late. At the same time, Ye on stage received the signal, leaped up and kicked the decorated spear, piercing through the Japanese Major General in the front row. Following the explosion, gunfire and people's cries of alarm intertwined. Cheng Daqi's men charged at the Japanese and traitors like tigers descending from the mountains, launching into a fierce battle. Meanwhile, Mao Zai escaped during the chaos from the upstairs room. Cheng Daqi jumped down to the main hall, desperately searching for GQ but couldn't find her. Following gunshots to the dressing room, he discovered Zai had already taken GQ hostage.
Shoot, Daqi. Don't worry about me. Just kill this traitor.
Could you really bring yourself to do it?
Seeing the scene, Cheng Daqi still chose to slowly lower his gun. However, at that moment, a gunshot from behind caught his attention. Seeing this, Cheng Daqi pulled out his butterfly knife and stepped forward to chop off his fingers. A knife plunges straight into the heart, while Abao, who had just fired his gun, also takes a bullet from Mao Zai.
Am I still your woman? Do you still consider me yours?
You'll always be the woman I love most.
Abao never dreamed she would hear Cheng Daqi's heartfelt confession. Beside them, GQ watched the scene unfold, tears streaming down her face. The fate of these three people had always been intricately intertwined. Cheng Daqi had someone take GQ away, while he carried Abao himself, facing their destiny with composure. Under the enemy's watchful eyes, Cheng Daqi stepped into the car and gently kissed Abao. At the Japanese commander's signal, the car was instantly riddled with bullets, marking the fall of Shanghai's legendary kingpin. The film ends here. That's all for this video. For more classic movies, see you next time.